When I woke up this morning, the sun was peeking through my drawn blinds. I didn't immediately get a headache. I actually felt good enough to start planning the possibilities for the day. Most mornings I cry when I realize the night didn't last forever. If one night could just go on forever and ever and ever. Because my face was made to smile, you'd never know the agony I've had to endure. You'd never know that I have to take mood stabilizers and antipsychotics every day just to appear normal. But oh, does my body know? We endure the paralyzing side effects together. I've missed a lot of sunny days. Like a sickly child, I've sat and watched and mourned as life smiled and waved by through my clouded window. Instead of going outside to live a life of my own, I've gotten sucked into my own dreams and heroic fancies. Dreams of leading global corporations, of being a mom. But sadness always comes back and makes a fool and a liar out of me. Mind and body perpetually drained, aching. A doctor told me once that you can't get rid of clinical depression like a cold. Great revelation, but also damning. To think that I'll have to sniffle in some form for the rest of my life. Some days the agony is so intense that I have to hold my head with my palms to relieve some of the pressure. It doesn't work. It does help me feel slightly more grounded. But I've almost been too grounded. To think, someone with such lofty dreams and vision to have never taken flight, it's almost better to have never been born. That's why I say I've never lived. I've only gotten older. And as I've gotten older, anxiety has rolled in like perfect surfer waves. Some days, John Coltrane's In a Sentimental Mood is the only thing that'll calm my soul. If you listen quietly, you can hear him now. Do, 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 do. But I can't always have smooth grooves available. These anxiety monsters will attack me anywhere. While I'm driving on the expressway, while I'm cutting the turkey at my Friendsgiving celebration, while I'm in front of a manager at work, while I'm standing in line at CVS. The CVS attack is one for the record books. I'm standing in line, trying not to appear psychotic, and my body starts betraying me. First, I start getting hotter, and it's cold outside, but I start getting hotter on the inside, and my body starts warming up. And then I start itching, my legs, and then my arms, and then my scalp, and then I can't catch my breath. And all this while I'm standing in line. I have to sit down to wait out this unwelcomed interruption. Depression for me has been an unwelcomed interruption. Instead of going to conquer my little corner of the world, I've spent most of my life just trying to survive it, tarrying like a prisoner. I'd rather be at home in my comfy bed most times, safe, hidden, asleep, waiting for time to pass. And time always passes. First a few minutes, then a few hours, then the weekend, then an entire semester of college was over. I laid in bed for an entire semester of college and no one noticed. My teachers did when they failed me for not turning in any work, but I doubt they even knew who I was. I graduated, but showing up and tap dancing for all those years was not easy. I've held my life together with fragile shoestrings during uncomfortably long days, and I collapse on nights and weekends like a second job. I've lived in agony like this for years, high school, through college, through the early part of my career, and I've kept the extent of my woundedness to myself because there seemed to be no salve. What were my parents to do when a young child comes to them and says, I've got this internal battle raging on the inside and I don't know what to do. Or, I just don't want to be here anymore. So they committed me for the first time when I was a young girl, and I spent a week coloring. Some have said, just go out and be happy. Doctors have said, just get out and get some exercise. But it's never been just that easy for me. What's wrong with me? Ugh. I found out a little over 2 years ago, actually. My best friend committed me during Mental Health Awareness Week. It was not in solidarity of the event. Total coincidence. I had been on a crying spree. I was inconsolable. I was crying all day, all night. My level of sadness and anxiety had reached grand lows. And her being on an never-ending quest to get me out for air, she asked me to go out to errands with her. I said, okay, but I'm going to sit outside of the store. So we'd go to every store on her list, and I'd sit outside and cry until she was done. And after she was done shopping, she'd come and get me, and I'd cry to the next place. I sobbed outside of the Apple store. I wailed outside of the Gap. I acted a plumb fool outside of Trader Joe's. I got tired of crying. She was done with her errands, so seeking some medical help seemed like the best next thing to do. Me being me, I turned the hospital stay into a retreat of sorts. In between continued fits of wailing, I plopped my feet up on the bed in my single room. I laid under my plush purple throw, and I read between The Bell Jar and Other Depression how-to novels. I joined group chats with other guests, and I offered unsolicited feedback and prayers, all very zen. In fact, the reason they kept me is because I refused to eat anything but graham crackers and drink my Pellegrino contraband, thanks to my smuggling sisters. In my defense, I would rather take my own life than will it over to the thriving rehydrated food industry. Amen? It was during that last day that I learned something truly useful. A doctor diagnosed me with a mood disorder, bipolar 2. And later on, I found out that I also have a dissociative disorder. Proper diagnosis and medication management has been a lifeline for me. Life is finally trending upward. In fact, this morning I saw the sun beaming through my window, and I smiled. I'm finally starting to see the sun for what it really is, not just something that woke me up this morning. Thank you.